What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about the newest from Fragrance World, and they are currently available. Fragflex is going to be doing a custom sale for a couple of days. You can use code FW05 to save some cash on their Fragrance World products, and more specifically, some of these newer ones. So that's where you can pick it up. I personally got mine from UK, and yeah, let's just go ahead and crack into them. I've been living with a few of these, and I'm quite surprised as to the scent profile for one of these very specifically. Starting things off is going to be this bad boy right here. It's Nuke, not 2.0. So about a couple weeks ago, I managed to find Nuke 2.0, but I wasn't able to find the actual original Nuke. The scent profile of this obviously smells like that spiced vanilla, tobacco, and a little bit of woods as well. Very ambery. I would say that this is a lot more accurate to the original Spice Bomb than Spice Bomb Extreme was to the 2.0. This has those citruses, it has that tobacco and spice. It smells very masculine, very mature, and very easy to wear as well. It could easily be a signature scent for the winter and fall time as well, and it can be dressed up or dressed down. This does seem to have a little bit more of a freshness coming from those citruses, which is pretty nice. I wouldn't call this more than about 85% of an inspo to Spice Bomb Original. I will say that this is closer to Spice Bomb than the 2.0 is to the Extreme. In terms of the performance, you could expect anywhere from 7 to 8 hours, whereas the Spice Bomb Original, it gives me about 8 to 9 hours, so not that much more. So it's really up to you. I will say though that the projection of this one is also pretty moderate at around 2 to 3 feet. Occasions for this, like I said, you can signature scent it for the spring, or I'm sorry, for the fall and the winter time. For the price, I mean, Spice Bomb Original can sometimes still be found at discounters, but you'll probably find like a 1.7 at around 60 to 70 bucks. This one I would assume would be around $50 or less. So it's really up to you. And some regions don't even have this. If you live in those said regions or those regions that don't, then it would be a very viable option. Moving on to the next one was actually pretty surprising. This is called Nudo Exotic Flowers, and this one had me stuck to my nose for a long time until I finally figured it out and pinpointed exactly what it was. So as you can see, it looks like a pretty feminine bottle, but the scent profile of this is extremely unisex. I feel like they limited themselves with that bottle design in terms of the market, because what this in fact smells a lot like is Initio's Narcotic Delight. Yeah, it smells a lot like Initio's Narcotic Delight, but I will say that it's not as rich or ambery. I feel like this is also another one that's around 80%, but it's not a bad thing at all. It does seem to have a little bit more of a powdery nature to it too, so maybe in a sense taking it even more so unisex than Narcotic Delight in itself. This is pretty unisex to my nose. It's got cherry, cognac, ambers. It's very very sexy and seductive. This one retains that but adds a floral nuance to it with those powders. So ladies could easily rock it, and gentlemen, you can as well. In terms of the performance, this is one that I sprayed on tester strip, and it lasted for about 7.5 hours. Narcotic Delight in itself will last about 10 hours, but the projection is absolute shit. This one, it damn near projects a little bit more, maybe because of its diffusivity, but in totality, you are going to be sacrificing for the total longevity. Don't expect anything beast mode out of any one of these, but if you're looking for an alternative that's not $250+, this is a very good one. And gentlemen, I mean, if you can get over the bottle, then I mean, yeah, it is what it is. The scent profile is pretty good, and like I said, it does remind me of Narcotic Delight with maybe a little bit more of a powdery, brighter floral nuance to it as well, and not as rich and syrupy of a natured fragrance, or I should say ambery, if you will. So the performance being said, the occasions is going to be something of dates, special occasions, maybe even the office during the fall and the winter time. This is going to be perfect for exactly that. For the price and the price differences, I mean, you're talking about a fragrance that's going to be at least $200 cheaper. I definitely think it's still worth it. I mean, you're not really going to be rocking the bottle and walking around with this thing, are you guys? But I mean, at the same time, I do understand if you didn't want to pick it up because of that. So moving on to the next fragrance, this is such a strong and rich fragrance. I feel like the bottle of this actually makes it seem like this would smell a lot cheaper than it actually does smell. This is called Fragrance World Just Lychee, or Just Lychee, and this smells a lot like this very candied style fruity fragrance for women. It's very gummy. The whole lychee vibe is going to give you exactly that. It's slightly ambery, sweet, raspberry, some of those like peach ring candies, and that's what it basically smells like. It smells very high quality, and like I said, I mean, if they were to put this in a better looking bottle or less plasticky, it would definitely smell or seem a bit more premium, because the scent profile does seem premium. Very strong, very ambery, very rich in profile, and it does last on tester strip for like 10 hours. The projection of this is also moderate, about 2.5 feet, I would say, and the occasions for this is like, you know, flirty and playful for women, definitely. In terms of the seasons, I could see this being for like the spring, the fall, perfect for exactly both of those seasons, and including the winter time. For the price, I mean, the bottle, you're getting what you're getting because of the price tag. You know, it doesn't really look the best. The cap is plastic and all that good stuff, but still, scent profile considered, it's a very flirty flirtatious and pretty fragrance, basically. Moving on to the next one. This is called عطور العالم's Taj 1, also from Fragrance World, but this is Taj of their sub-branch called عطور العالم. Now, initially, when they presented عطور العالم, you were going to, or what they were giving you, was a sacrifice in presentation and basically making it more affordable. Now, they've actually stepped it up, as you guys can see. This is the عطور العالم, and this is a double folding opening box with a magnetic clasp to it as well. So I would say that that's still pretty premium than a lot of designers nowadays that still give you a cardboard piece of crap basically and tell you, here you go, fragrance. This looks pretty premium as well. The glass, this is all custom molds. It's actually pretty sick. And you get a plate on the front that says Taj, and this is one. It's a green bottle. So the notes of this fragrance will include notes of like bergamot, grapefruit. There's also rosemary, saffron, and oud. And what this actually smells a lot like is Reef 33. So it's got like this very fresh, effervescent, sparkling, slightly metallic with a leather undertone, musky oud fragrance. It's a fresh oud fragrance, if you will. It actually, in its backbone, seems to have some kind of resemblances to vibrato, Suspiro's vibrato, in the backbone of that DNA. So it has that fresh, almost zingy-like ginger undertone with everything else at the top, like that saffron. The saffron is absolutely there, and the rosemary that's very crisp and cooling. So it's kind of like Suspiro's vibrato meets the Middle Eastern oud and saffron combination is what I get with both of these, Reef 33 and Taj 1. In fact, a little backstory, Reef actually started this whole style DNA with the 33. It's not the longest lasting fragrance in the world. And then Imperial Valley by Gissa Perfumes did their rendition and kind of added a little bit of this Penhaligon's Helvetii cedar style DNA to the whole thing. But this one, in fact, is close to Reef 33. In terms of the performance, this isn't one that gave me more than about 7.5 hours for total longevity. The projection was pretty nice for the first hour and a half. It was about 3 feet. And then after the hour and a half, it was more just like a skin scent bubble type of fragrance, which can be a good thing because of that metallic saffron, etc. It can be a little bit cloying if it was too strong, basically. So I would say above average performance at the very low end spectrum of that, but still really good. Occasions for this could be special events, hanging out with the bros, going on dates. It could be a signature scent. This is a oud fresh signature scent worthy fragrance that's aromatic and a little bit spiced as well. A really good one, nevertheless. Moving on to the next release is going to be Taj 2. And Taj 2 reminds me a lot of Ex Nilo's Blue Talesman, except it does have its differences as well. With Blue Talesman, you get that pear, the ginger, the zingy ginger. You also get like that ambroxan and the musk. There is a little bit of those woods in the dry down, but as it starts to dry down, Blue Talesman that is, it keeps its diffusivity. That musk ambroxan combination kind of gives it like this almost 3D effect. It's almost a transparent style scent cloud that's still projecting. Whereas this fragrance, when you spray it on, it's a little bit thicker than that. So it's got the orange flower, it's got akigala wood, a lot of musks, ambroxan, and what you end up with is like this orange flower fabric softener with fruits and crisp natures to it, basically. What you're gonna get with Taj 2 is something similar to that, except it's not as diffusive. So it's toned down in the musk and ambroxan, and it seems to be toned up more in more of this richer orange flower and those woods. So what you get is basically two fragrances that seem like they're going in the same direction at first, and then they kind of veer off and go into their own realm. So much more of a twist than anything. I would call it about 80% to 85%. Still really appreciate it for what it's doing. It's just not going to be the closest clone. In terms of the performance, this is one that lasted for a solid 8 hours. The projection was solid for the first 2 hours. The one thing that I will say about Ex Nilo is that although it's a pretty diffusive and light style DNA, the projection of this is monstrous. It envelops you and it's like an aura. Taj 2 doesn't really do too bad, but it's absolutely not going to get you the same performance as that. So yes, although you're going to be paying more of a premium with Blue Talesman, I just think that the performance and stuff for this one is fantastic. But if you don't have the money, this is still a very good take on it. And like I said, the main differences being that the orange flower and those woods are amped up a little bit more, and what you're losing kind of is the ambroxan and that musky nature, the whole 3D and diffusivity of the fragrance in itself. Thicker, still smells good, and still has an above average performance. In terms of the occasions, this can be signature scent, and for dates and literally everything else in between, for specifically spring and the summertime, and maybe even during the fall time as well. That's when I rocked it and it did just fine. For the price and price cut, it's still a very viable option. Last but not least, this is a massive ass box, and it's the FA Paris. So this is their higher end series, and it's absolutely doing it the best. This smells like tuxedo. Take a look at this presentation, all premium stuff right here. I already sniffed this about a year ago when at the convention, but when I tested this one out even more so recently, it's next level stuff, man. So So think about the more recent quality, the premium quality, and like the Fierte and all of those other good fragrances in terms of like how they're getting all the clones and shit really close. This is exactly that. It's absolutely stronger and better than their suits, and you're gonna pay the premium for that. It's a lot more diffusive as well, and you can sense that the quality of ingredients in this one is amped up significantly. Now, this is one where I don't know exactly how long it's going to last. It does seem like it's more diffusive, very similar to how I described the Ex Nihilo Blue Talesman, but that doesn't always mean a weaker fragrance. However, I can't give you guys exactly the total longevity. I would imagine that this will give me at least 7 hours, but please take it for what you will. I have not worn this one yet. Ighwa is a fragrance that I will be rocking very soon, and you guys can catch that in my shorts on Instagram and on TikTok in terms of the performance. Now, for the occasions, this can be dressed up, it can be dressed down. You could also signature scent this one, especially for the fall and the springtime. It'll be absolutely perfect. I still get that violet, a lot of this coriander, this vanilla undertone, and it absolutely smells niche quality stuff. It just doesn't seem as concentrated as you might get with the OG, but even then the OG is about 240 bucks, and this might be $80 or less. So you kind of have to play it by ear. What'll really determine whether or not this is worth it is how long it'll actually last. So stay tuned for that future full review on Ighwa, because I do plan on bringing that up. And if not, make sure to stay tuned to my weekly gems series video where I talk about all the fragrances that I wear on a weekly basis. And every day it's a new fragrance, so every video you'll be finding something new or hearing something new that you might not have caught in some of my other videos. Dislikes, likes, all of that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.